Gary here with another manga and anime review. Excuse me. This time I'll be doing one over my second favorite manga and anime, Hajime no Ippo. So before we begin, once again, I just want to remind everyone that whatever I say is my own personal opinion, no one else's. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, so Hajime no Ippo is about a boy named Ippo Makanuchi. His name is pretty hard to pronounce. So Ippo is basically a teenager who hasn't really gotten to do the things that teenagers do because he has to help his mother run their fishing business. So I know because he's kind of a social outcast. He doesn't really do have much to do with anyone. He often gets bullied. Well, that and plus he does kind of smell like fish. So he gets bullied like every day. Well, one of these times he's getting bullied after school. He, a man named Takamura, sees what's happening. And he comes and he prevents Ippo from getting beat up even further. As it turns out, Takamura is a boxer, and he brings Ippo to his boxing gym so that he can, patch him up, put some um, ointment and whatnot to help him get better. He sees Ippo starts crying. He goes, he basically tells him to man up. If you're upset, here, punch the punching bag to make yourself feel better. So Ippo does, and he seems to have a lot of power, even though he has a fairly small body. And he gets that from working on the fishing boat. So, Takamura gives Ippo a few tapes of the best knockout fights in boxing. And Ippo goes home and he watches them, and he decides, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to box. So from then on, starts Ippo's journey to become a boxer and to know what it means to be strong. So that's the summary. It's a boxing manga. It's not too much story to it for the most part, as far as an overall plot. So, anyways, let's get to the artwork. I have to tell you guys, the manga started in 1989, and it looks like it started in 1989. They wear, what people wore at that time. Um, the artwork is definitely different from today's standards. So the artwork's not it's not bad if you take into account, when it was made. But by today's standards, it's pretty bad. So I'll give it a 6. Just because I accepted the artwork. It might not be the prettiest to look at, but I gotta say, the creator of this manga knows how to make a funny looking face. Like their facial expressions really made myself piss my pants a few times. Well, maybe not literally, but you know what I mean. It's pretty funny. Uh, as for the story, like I said, the story's basic. There's not a whole lot to the overall plot, but the arcs are really great in this manga because how it's done is, Ippo trains for the fight, and then that might last 10 to 20 chapters, depending on how big of a fight it is. And then the actual fight list might last, again, 10 to 20 chapters, depending on how big a fight it is. Um, and during the time the fights, not only do you get to, view it as the way Ippo is viewing it, but also you get the other side of the story, and you get what his opponents are thinking. They each have their own objectives. They each have their own motivations as to why they're boxing. They each have their own distinct personalities. So, in that way, the story is really good. The comedy is amazing in it. It is the funniest manga I've ever read, hands down. At times it can be funny without even really trying. That's how good the comedy in it is. As for the, so I'll give the story an 8 because, like I said, it's a boxing manga, it's a sports manga. There's not a whole lot of overall direction for the main thing, but it gets pretty interesting. It has some of the best arcs. It actually has my favorite arc of any manga I read in it, so I won't spoil what that is. As for characters, well, as I mentioned in the story part, you really get to know every character that's introduced. There is no character that's just kind of there. So I really love that. It has some of my favorite characters out of any manga ever. I want to give some explanations, some descriptions of the characters. Ippo is kind of, he's the average underdog character. He means well. He doesn't try to do anything to piss anyone off. And he really does have just a general love for fighting. Or not fighting, but for boxing, rather. Takamura is definitely my favorite character. Um, he is the he's like the senior boxer at the gym. He's the best boxer there. He's arrogant. He is. He's so arrogant that he generally believes that he's the best boxer in the world, and probably because he is. He, so he's hilarious. He's always the guy trying to pull pranks on everyone. Um, then there's Aoki and Zuki, I think. It's been a while since I read the manga, so I probably got that last name wrong. But there are the other two senior boxers at the gym. They're best friends. They're always seen together. One runs a Selby shop. One runs a flower shop. Aoki, he he likes to use these weird boxing techniques. Like one, he literally squats down like a frog and jumps up and hits them. So he's pretty funny to read. The characters are great. There's a few other ones I can't really remember their names, so I'm not even going to try to tell you guys them. Um, let's see. So for the characters, I'll go with 10 out of 10. They're amazing characters, well defined, well developed. Um, None of them were flat, which is great. I love that about this manga. For length, it's a 10 out of 10 in my for me because it has over 900 chapters. In fact, I think it's 906 chapters, and it's still going. There's still chapters being released every week. So, no, that's how you know a manga's good. Is when it started in 1989 and it's still being released. That is over 20 years. So, over 20 years of manga right there. The anime has probably around 150 episodes. I believe there's two different ones to it, and I believe each of them have around 75 episodes. Um, the animation, we had to mention this earlier in the art section. The animation for it is beautifully done. Um, the anime didn't start in the late 90s, or I mean, the late 80s, early 90s, so that's a good thing because the animation looks beautiful. The fight scenes in it are amazing. Overall, is my second favorite manga. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. No, I'll give it 9 out of 9. There's some minor flaws to it, mainly in the how basic the story is, but that can't really be helped too much. So 9 out of 9. Um, I'll have to sign off now. See you guys.